Welcome to Phil Wilson Chats with Celebrities. And here's your host, Phil Wilson.
Helia Tatla is a dynamic musical collaboration and is the creative and expressive project of Leah, Attali and Geoff Bradford, who have released their debut album, Third Culture Kids, and single Behind the Wheel. And Leah and Geoff, join me now. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Amazing. Great, thank you. Yes.
It's lovely to see you, Leah and Geoff. Now, how did the collaboration come together of Helia Tatla?
Go ahead, Geoff. You can start.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to an interest in French. I lived in France when I was growing up, and I speak French reasonably well, and I do kind of activities in French. And one of those is to do a French conversation with someone who's a native speaker. And I had for a number of years a pretty good friend, Elizabeth Vadrine, that we would get together every week and speak French. And she moved up to Michigan a couple of years ago. And so I was looking for someone to meet with weekly to speak French. And I met someone through dancing, Jasmine, and we were doing it. But then she went back to school and she recommended Leah as someone that could do French conversation with me. So that's how I met Leah, and we met to speak French for a year or so. And I learned that she was a singer, and I went to hear her, and I was very impressed by the quality of her voice. There's a lot of people that sing, but there's not many people that have that vocal quality that Leah has. And so I was interested in working with her on recording, and that's how we got into this project.
And Leah, I can see as well when you're actually performing, especially on the video, the live session for Behind the Wheel, you can see that you really have the stage presence and everything, and the whole of the band there performing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to play with some amazing musicians, and it's been such a wonderful experience having my songs come to life, singing Geoff's songs as well. Just getting that experience, yes.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely excellent as well. Now, Leah, you're from New York and are French American. Has this helped influence your style of singing?
Yes, definitely. French is my native language, and I think I know for a fact that it just changes how you what you use, what registers you use. And so I feel like I've been able to access different parts, just at least have an awareness around that and be able to access kind of maybe different voice types. And just I've been playing with that a lot since I was a child. I was really interested with that. And just influence-wise, yeah, I've had a lot of French artists influence me, and just a lot of Spanish artists influence me as well as just growing up in New York, a lot of Motown and, kind of classics as well.
Yes, the great Motown classics. They are definitely people who are, you can be inspired by, because there's such a massive, wide range of performers, isn't there?
Yes, definitely.
Now, who are the artists that have inspired you, Geoff?
I'd say I have like a pretty eclectic background. My father was a big jazz fan, and he had a huge jazz collection. And so like the music that was played when I was a child, a lot of it was jazz and Latin type of jazz. And that's kind of embedded in me. And I play music. I play bass with a swing band called the Armadillo Swing Band, which is trumpets and trombones and saxes, and playing the arrangements from the 30s and 40s. But then, when I was an adolescent in the 1960s, it was the rock music that was kind of exploding then. And then the music has evolved over time, and I try to keep up with it, someone who I think is just phenomenal, who unfortunately, like he says things that are so outrageous, it's hard to defend him. But Kanye West, I think, just did a bunch of brilliant records in the 2000s. Just for example of someone more contemporary doing hip hop.
Yes, definitely. Now, Geoff, you grew up in France, Switzerland, Venezuela, and Liberia. Has this influenced your style too?
I think that goes back to the title of the record, Third Culture Kids. I think when you grow up and you're exposed to multiple cultures, it changes the way that you view the world. It's you're aware that people are all different, and it's kind of baked in, to your personality. That there's all different cultures and all different approaches to life, which I don't think people that grow up in a single culture, can so easily have that perspective.
Now, Helia Tatla certainly has global appeal with other band members like Frank Cano on keyboards, originally from Nuevo Laredo in Mexico, Eric Hoggett on sax, Brennan Howell on drums, who has travelled around the world, Marco Antonio Santos on guitar from Minas Gerais, if I pronounce that right.
I think
From
got that
Brazil.
Portuguese pronunciation. Yeah.
Indeed. And I must mention, of course, the man with all of the switches and all of the sliders, who is Justin Douglas, your seasoned audio engineer and owner of King Electric, a renowned music studio in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, he's fantastic. It's a real pleasure to work with all those guys. They're all tremendously dedicated.
Talented.
Now, does everyone put elements of their own musical background into the unique compositions you create, Leah?
Well, a lot of the songs on the album, besides Behind the Wheel, I composed that one, but Geoff actually is the one composing a lot of the other songs. So he has a vision, and then I believe, he holds that vision, but he brings it, and we all kind of play with it a little bit, and I think that naturally just happens, just kind of fall into whatever feels right. And yeah, that's able to kind of evolve into it.
And I love the song. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to just say that the musicians are all trained jazz musicians, and Eric and Marco both have a doctor in music from the University of Texas Butler School of Music, and wow. Frank has the master's degree. So yeah, they've spent years on their craft, and so it's not like I would just come in with some kind of rough ideas and we'd kind of workshop them. I have a written song. They all kind of the expectation is that I'll have something written out and we'll play through it and we'll work on it. And if it doesn't work, I'll go back and change it. But yeah, it's they're extremely proficient jazz musicians. So.
Indeed. I mean, so you go in with like a blueprint of what's going on, and then can people have like input, and maybe, you may take advice on changing things around, or maybe say, if you're on the saxophone there, maybe, or on the keyboards, you can maybe, do a little bit of improv.
Yeah, we definitely play with the arrangements and the parts. I think that as musicians, they come up with much better parts than if I was trying to write them. So it's a lot of I think we always, if you listen to the record, you heard that last song, Lover Be Direct. There's just some amazing keyboard work on that from Frank, just a phenomenal kind of jazzy improvisation, and some great sax work from Eric on a song like Shock of Recognition. He's just doing amazing soprano sax at the end of that. So yeah, great musicianship.
So the video, I watched the video of, of your Behind the Wheel single, and was that done all in one take? Because it looked absolutely amazing, and everybody was really into it, especially the gentleman on the keyboard there. He was really getting into it.
That's Frank. Yeah, he's
passionate. Yeah,
he's very passionate.
Very passionate. Now, somebody sent me, well, the promotions team sent me your album, which I'm going to have a nice listen to, because it's just been sent to me actually in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so. And just to say that it's been compared to the sound of Steely Dan. And I think that is actually a great compliment because you are bringing that kind of style up to date for the modern audience.
Yeah, that's a fantastic compliment because they're one of those bands that are just like iconic in terms of the perfection of what they were doing. I would say another one like that is Talking Heads. To be compared to them would be,
Definitely. Yes. But yeah, it absolutely sounds lovely, and you definitely fill in the niche in the market. With obviously Steely Dan not doing any more stuff, and yeah, you just sound absolutely amazing. I love your music. Now, your debut album, Third Culture Kids, is out now. Can you tell us what to expect from the album, Leah?
Oh, well, it's definitely an eclectic types of genres in music. We bring in some pop, some electronic, some experimental kind of sounds, and just really fantastic musicianship, like Geoff mentioned earlier. And yeah, it was it was really fun experience doing the vocals on all these songs because all of them have a peculiarity to them, and so it's kind of a little travel. It's like I feel very nostalgic with some songs, so there's there's nostalgia, especially with song Caroline.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you just kind of very lyrically driven as well. So there's like a listening component to it when it comes to the words. So it depends if you want to listen to the music, you can kind of zone into that, or you can kind of zone into lyrics. It's fun because it's the two worlds complement each other, and it's just definitely a great experience listening to it.
Yeah, it's great when you hear songs that tell stories as well, Geoff.
Yeah, I was going to kind of jump in and say that there's really no plan, so there's no strategy, there's no expectation. I think for the record, my approach is more like cooking and cooking recipes, and I'm trying to find things that work and things that sound good, and but it's but there is no like plan, no blueprint, So
yes.
Yeah.
Which makes it sound better, actually. It'll make the album sound more refreshing as well, rather than going down the same old route. You've got a lot of things in the mixing bowl there with your album.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fine with people to do the same thing every time. I remember seeing an interview with AC/DC. What's that guitar player's name from AC/DC? And the interviewer was saying, "You made 19 records and they all sound exactly alike." And he said, "No, you can't say that. We made 20 records and they all sound exactly alike." So, you can't argue with AC/DC, right? I mean, it's so yeah, everybody's got their own, their own thing. So I'm not.
That's right. Well, Brian Johnson of AC/DC, he's from our neck of the woods here in the northeast of England. So yes, he would probably say the same kind of thing about his vocals.
So.
Which is doing less and less now, because if he sings if he does all of that screaming anymore, he'll not be able to scream anymore.
Yeah, that's something that you don't recover so quickly as you get older. That's for sure. So.
Definitely not. I know. I haven't spoken to him recently, but his voice might be right down there now.
Robert Plant kind of went through that, didn't he?
He did
singing with Led Zeppelin with the screaming stuff, and now he's kind of a bluesy,
That's right. A bit of like a George Thorogood kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right down there, bad to the bone.
I drink alone. Right?
That's right. Now, what are the standout songs from the album Third Culture Kids? Which are your particular favourites, both of you? Leah first.
Oh, well, I really enjoyed the single, right? The Behind the Wheel, of course, because I composed it, so I'm very attached to that song, and it was just such a a wonderful experience getting to have that come alive with the band, especially with everyone in the band. They're also
Yes.
talented and just very skilled. And then secondly, Love or Be Direct. I just love how the songs, the music, the composition of music, how it kind of comes in really slow. It's just like kind of a slow crawl, and then it speeds up. So it feels like the music in itself feels like I'm like running, but then the voice, the lyrics, the vocals, it feels like like slowing down. So just that juxtaposition between the two, I really enjoyed that feel around it. Yeah.
Lovely,
Did I
lovely. So you
did I answer
taken,
your question? I'm sorry.
you
I got
certainly
lost.
did. So you're definitely taken the listeners on a musical journey, as it were, with that song.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I guess on my part, I mean, besides Behind the Wheel, which is just very satisfying melodically, I think Third Culture Kids, from a kind of a philosophical point of view, I'm really pleased with, because I feel like it really expresses kind of my philosophy of life. And just from a kind of a guilty pleasure point of view, I think one of the ones I like is Losing a Girlfriend, which
Yeah.
I just like the way that, like, the jazzy feel of it, and the way the bass ostinato and the piano kind of punctuating it, and then the sax solos from Eric on the soprano that just kind of take it off to a whole new level. So yeah, just like that one.
Absolutely beautiful choices there. Now, do you have any future projects that you could tell us about, Leah?
Well, I'm currently kind of wrapping up. I have a plethora of songs that I would like to record. So I'm working on just kind of refining them a little bit, and trying to plan on how I can go about recording that, kind of like my own kind of work. But I wanna also, um, yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just focused on that, on how to go. That's my vision right now. I'm just working on an album.
And Geoff, you have been on tour as well. Are you still on tour? Is that
No,
right?
no, not on tour, but we do have a performance on July 27th with an outfit called So Far, which is actually a London-based company that does house concerts. That I really like a lot. I've been to a lot of their concerts and have hosted them at my house, and
Wow.
they have a great audience, because it's really about the music, and people are really attentive. And so it's not like playing in a club where nobody's kind of listening to you. Everybody's super focused on the music, and I think you can do music with a lot more kind of intellectual content when you've got that kind of audience. And then in terms of other projects, I've been writing in some different styles, and one of the ones that I think is working out pretty well is with a singer in Kenya. Her name is Leah and Geoff. I'm not sure about the pronunciation of that, but I've been
Right.
recording a couple songs with her and doing kind of more of an Afro beat type of a sound, and I'm liking the way that's going.
Well, you'll have to come over to a bar which is called Hoochie Coochie, and it's based in Newcastle upon Tyne. And the gentleman that runs the bar, he would probably get the checkbook out and get you over, because it's your kind of music. Is the kind, when you're talking there and telling me about having these like personalized gig kind of things. Like when you've got like haven't got like 10,000 people, in front of you. You may have like a nice gathering, as it were, where you're able to enjoy the music together. I think that would be definitely somewhere that you'll have to come. Maybe I'll have to pass your details over to
That would
Hoochie
be great.
Coochie.
That would be great. Yeah.
But yes, that sounds really good, because it really, you're really able to connect with the audience more, aren't you, in those kind of settings there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think in my case, I write a lot of lyrics that are, I say that there's like a lesson in them or something, right? So it's there's something that I want to communicate, and so I like to have people that listen to it, so that the point gets across, kind of. So.
Yeah, and definitely in a place like So Far, it's just like, because of the silence that's around, we're able to kind of also get into it as well. right? Get into a
Yes.
flow ourselves as the artist, and that's contagious. Like once you are, ultimately, if people are listening, they'll connect with you on that level, and so I think that's the most attractive part about so far. It's just that they allow that connection to happen. If they facilitate that really well.
And you can feel the vibes as well, probably when you're actually performing there. You
Yeah.
can the energy for some reason is in the air. That kind of
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Excellent. Now, where can listeners follow you and buy your music, Geoff?
Well, if you've been doing releases of music, you know that the way it works is that you come up with the songs that you want to release, and you go to one of these services like DistroKid. Or there's another one that what CD Baby or something, I forget what it's called, but DistroKid is the one that I use. And then they push it out to every service you've ever heard of, and then a lot you never heard of, right? So they're going to go to Spotify and YouTube Music and Apple Music and Amazon Music, and as well as ones like Tidal that you may have heard of. But yeah, it goes out. And it's not really something that you have to do yourself, aside from just put it up on DistroKid and hit the button to push it. So that's the way that
Indeed.
works.
And your website as well. Can people get music from your website as well as information about where you're going to be traveling to?
Yeah, there's information on the website. And there's a couple of songs that there's a player for a couple of the songs, but yeah, I mean, basically, it would be going to someplace like Spotify or iTunes or. So.
Excellent. And would you be considering releasing any of your music on vinyl in the future, Leah?
Vinyl, that's an interesting question. I hadn't really put much thought into it, but yeah, potentially. Why not? So yeah,
I think it would
I'm open to
sound
it.
great it would sound great putting the needle on the record there and listening to your music. I know that for sure. Along with Steely Dan at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. On the
That's
changer,
right? That's right, with the record changer. Now, that leads me into the next question. Now, the vinyl revival is here, so I must ask, what is your favourite record you have ever bought, and what song would you put the needle on if a record player was beside you? And this goes to Geoff first.
Yeah, that's a tough question, but I think probably the record that I listened to the most times in my life was Earth, Wind and Fire, Gratitude in the 1970s. So I mean, there's lots of great records, but I might try to remember what the first song on that is. I think it's "Sing a Song." Is that? But
Right.
"Sing a Song" maybe by Earth, Wind and Fire from the album Gratitude.
So would that be your choice if you were going, Phil, you've got to listen to this song? Would that be the song that you would play me, or is there another one that you could think of by maybe another artist?
That's, I mean, the other one on that record that I remember really well is Can't Stop Love, Can't Stop Love. Well, I betcha. I forget the name of it, but that's another great track off that album. No, it's just when you said you're talking about vinyl, the vinyl that I identify with maybe most strongly is that one, which I listened to I don't know, hundreds of times in college while smoking marijuana. So yeah, so that was like it was I think when you use cannabis and you listen to music, it gives you like a different insight into the music. So you kind of feel more intensely involved
in tune with it.
Like it's like you hear every note in a different way. It's so.
Excellent. And Leah?
Wow, that's a hard one to just pick. I guess I don't know. There's so many, but I mean, to me, Nina Simone always comes back to mind.
Right.
And I believe it's the album called "I Got Life."
Right. Yes.
Got
Yes.
Life?
I know that one. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that album. Especially just that point in her career. She was just like very. She's so bold,
Definitely.
I definitely admire her on many levels, musically, lyrically, vocally, in so many ways. And that song, I wish I knew how it could feel.
Yeah,
That one stays with me a lot. Yeah, it's very yeah.
that's an excellent choice, Leah. Now,
And also, I guess
unfortunately,
with Nina Simone, also she was kind of like a cultural influence too. So not just as an artist, but as a person, she's really kind of changed the view of Black women musicians. So
Yes,
um,
she broke through a lot of like glass ceilings. Definitely,
that's right,
she was
broke a lot of
yeah.
boundaries down, definitely.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
still
So
very well respected, and I normally give her a bit of airplay on the Sunday morning show because she just is just so great.
mhm.
yeah, she's able to kind of transmute all of that and also just put it onto her music. It's pretty amazing.
And with that song, "I Got Life," I think they found a extra copy, one that was in the archive somewhere, and that's where she says extra words that she wasn't allowed to sing on the original version.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great that I love it. Now, unfortunately, I should say Leah and Geoff, we've run out of time, so it just leaves me to say thank you so much for joining me on the show. And would it be possible for you both together, if possible in unison, to introduce your latest single, "Behind the Wheel," taken from your debut album, Third Culture Kids?
Hi, we're Helia Tatla, and this is.
Behind the Wheel, our new single, a part of our album, Third Culture Kids.
That's excellent. So if you can stick around for a moment or two, and I'd just like to say thank you so much for joining me on the show, Leah and Geoff. And would you like to come on the show again? Or have I frightened you away?
Sure, that'd be a pleasure.
Sure.
Excellent. Well, take care and we'll speak to you soon. All the best.
Nice to meet
Okay,
you. Thank
thanks
you,
very
Jeff.
much.
Phil. Bye.
Thank you.